My name is Philip. I'm a musician, an artist, a maker, and a third-generation theologian. I was born in Texas, but 27 years ago, I moved to Western Russia with my parents. In 2023, my Russian wife and I moved to Siberia with our 4 children. That's right, the put your mittens on and haul some firewood Siberia. We live in a village in one of the many mountain ranges of Siberia. We're about 130 miles or 210 kilometers from the nearest city. Thank you for joining us on this adventure we all call life. So real quick, I wanted to give you guys some more tips on chopping wood. I felt like my previous video was not exhaustive enough. Not that this will be exhaustive, but I will give you more beneficial, useful advice. So when you're chopping, if you have a big piece, which I don't have here, but a big piece and you try to hit it and split it in the middle, it might not work in the middle. There are 2 things. First of all, the larger the piece, the more pressure is holding it together, especially in the middle, and the more you have to overcome in the middle. But second of all, if there are any knots in it, knots are often, or twisted grain, is what's really hard to chop. And that's why you don't chop elm. That's why you don't chop other woods that are have really twisted grain. But one of the things you can do is you can use wedges. You know, I've got it was an old like $10 hatchet that the handle broke, and I didn't bother putting a new handle on it. I just use it as a wedge. Or I've got a bigger wedge that's a little more solid. Wedges are helpful. Obviously, for wedges, it's good to have a good hammer. This is a good, solid hammer. I don't remember how much it weighs. I mean, it's solid. It's like 4 pounds or so. Or a sledgehammer. But another good thing is just to go towards, instead of trying to hit the middle of the log. Now, this is obviously for a much larger log I'm talking about usually. Instead of just trying to hit the middle, if you go towards the side, you don't want to go too far to the side because you don't want to glance it, and then, you know, you still have momentum in the axe and you injure yourself. You always want to also, when you're standing, you don't want to be in the way of the axe, just in case it keeps on going. You want to stand so your leg is not where you could hit your leg with the axe. You don't want to hit your leg with an axe. So you want to try a little, you know, you leave a good, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 centimeters. So like a 2, 3, 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, although 5's a lot. 2, 3 inches, something like that. And maybe 4 inches. And try to go for the side of the log, you know, like here, because there's a lot less pressure holding this side, what that little, you know, 2 or 3 inches on, than there is in the middle where you've got, you know, 12 inches on either side or more, whatever. Another thing is that if you sink your axe into a log, but it doesn't split, especially like for me, if it was this size, I could do this. Or if it's a piece of a larger log that you've already chopped off a bunch, then one of the things you can do is, if you can turn the log over, if it's not too heavy, and you can flip it over and you can bring it back down like that and hit the back of the axe down with the weight of the log going, often the weight of the log, which is going to be more than the axe head by itself, combined with the leverage force of it pivoting in your hands, and you're bringing it down like that, which throws it that way, the log or piece of log, very often you can actually get it to split that way. It sunk in pretty good, but it did not split the log. That did, though. Another thing I forgot to mention. Use the axe as a leverage after you get it in. So, okay, it's not stuck here. This one's loose. But if it wasn't, and I could get it up like this, and I could pry it like that, might have to with this one. Well, then again, sometimes it just works like that. Well, I got to do some other stuff today, so that wraps it up. I hope this was beneficial for you.